Edition of the OCS playoffs. Again, I am Dan Tartaglione, the one, the only, better known as D Tartag1 on pretty much everything. If you follow, if you know me, that's pretty much the name I use for everything. So we got another OCS playoff match coming to you live today. This one is Game 2 of Greg Shaw versus Justin Desai. For those who did not watch the last game in the last 15 minutes, Justin ended up beating Greg by 25 in that game. It was a match of ISB versus Diplo. Greg was on Diplo. Justin was playing ISB. He did play the SSA version with the 500 Republica. That really didn't matter. Justin was pretty much in control of that game since early on. So they will be playing game 2 right here momentarily. They wanted to get the second game in. It looks like they are ready to go. So let's join up the room and watch and see what happens. See if Greg can come back from a 25 force swing, essentially, to win this. Okay, so Greg is on CCT. Justin is on Legend. So Greg mixing it up a little bit for these playoffs, while Justin is going with decks that he's pretty familiar with. Legend did just receive an errata where on the 7 side that it requires 2 resistance agents for the cancel and the redraw. CCT, I don't believe it received any erratas. There was no errata really to any scum decks. So let's see what can happen. Greg again going with the any methods necessary. Start with Boba Fett bounty, or Boba Fett V, Boba Fett's blaster rifle V. Believe that is the Jabba's prize V, so it's going to be Corn Horn. Justin going with Walkling, Strike Planning, and a Brave Resistance, so pretty standard there. Let's see if he's got any extra resistance characters in his deck. Maybe like an Admiral Centaura, maybe like the Villager. So we'll see what he's got in his deck. So again, this is game 2. Justin won game 1 by 25. So let's see what happens. So Greg activates. So here we go. Greg activates 1, uses the 1 with the Carbonite Chamber console. There's both players pull out their grabbers first. So he's got the he's all yours Bounty Hunter V, so he can move Fett over to the audience chamber. Justin using his strike planning to pull out his General Leia. So pretty normal start to the turns. And it looks like Greg does pull one of his sites with the objective. Yep, there it is. So he'll be able to flip his first turn. Well, yeah, he'll be able to flip his first turn. Now, let's see if Justin put Greg on CCT. There are some cards that can hamper this deck, one of them being Mandalorian Mishap Virtual. That one cancels the game text of Fett, so they won't be able to do that once per game switch of a card, so he won't be able to like put a card down, pull out like a Sitting Leader or something like that to cancel this battle if he comes down. Oh wow, that's a nice start for Greg. Greg got his wiped them out, all of them, so he'll be able to activate 2 on Justin's turn. So once he does move the prize over, gets out his IG-88 droid, he'll be able to activate 2 on Justin's turn and can pull a card from his force pile. Yeah, this is a deck that I'm pretty familiar with. I played this in the Texas Mini Worlds. Played it in the first round. Didn't lose a match. I actually beat Fred myself. Props to me. And I beat Ryan Saracen as well, 2 players with a better track record than myself. So, okay, so yep, Greg's going to activate 2. So he's got some force to work with this turn. He did draw those 2 last cards, but again, he activates 2 from wipe and the console. So Justin going into his deploy phase, putting layup back. Let's see who he grabs with a Brave Resistance. Maybe it will be like a Ray with Lightsaber to try and attack that Fett. Or maybe it'll be like a Finn or somebody like that. He did start Jakku over the Antechamber, so maybe he wants to go up in space first. And it looks like he's going to do his normal routine with Legend. Get out the saddle, get out Luke, and then just eat a drain of 2 at the audience chamber. Yeah, he's got 4 force to work with, but again, that's not going to really... He's not going to be able to come down with any characters this turn. Okay, so there's the Antechamber. So he started Jakku, he got the Antechamber, and ooh, Honor of the Jedi is out. Okay, so that's good against, like... in this matchup, it's going to be good against cards like You'll Be Dead. Okay, so then he pulls out the battle plan, so Greg will be able to drain, and he'll be able to drain for 2 in this match. So it really comes down to, is this a match that Greg can win by 25? I'm not sure. So Ryan pointing out in the chat that he doesn't think that CCT can beat Legend by 25 or by 26. However, I seem to remember in a Texas Mini World match that somebody lost to me by that many. I want to say it was like in the 30s. And that's basically what propelled me into the playoffs. But apparently that's fake news. I don't know. I think we need to go back and see that. That was on stream, so we have evidence of it happening, sir. Greg will activate, and he's going to grab the He's All Yours Bounty Hunter. That's a good card for him to keep around because not only does it move your Bounty Hunter, but the loss works as cancel an attempt to use a weapon to target your Bounty Hunter escorting a captive. So once he gets IG-88 around, he'll be able to use that loss to cancel some battle or to cancel a weapon destiny against his IG-88. Or if he keeps the captive on Fett, he'll be able to cancel it against Fett. He pulls out the Coward Shield and There Is No Try Shield because he just saw that Justin lost his Hojax right off the top. So he's going to stop Justin from retrieving that Hojax early on. Okay, so he uses the audience chamber to pull Daru. Daru will now pull IG-88. And there the droid is. And I want to say he pulled that all without... Yeah, so he did that all without using the objective first. So that was kind of risky for Greg. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a good match for CCT. I really do. With that constant 1 retrieval, no matter what, that's pretty good. So, yeah. Greg remembering that he could pull Scum with the objective. So he moves the blaster over to IG-88 so that way he can keep the... his plan is to keep the blaster around with You'll Be Dead. And he'll just go into his move phase, move the captive over, so now IG-88 has control of the Jabba's prize. And now he'll be able to start pulling a card from his force pile every turn. Yeah, I like this a little bit better than ISB because that's a matchup that Justin knows regularly. Like, Justin knows that matchup probably as well as any other matchup. So CCT is something that Greg wanted just to throw at Justin, so give him a little bit of a difference. Maybe he doesn't know this matchup as well, but it is Justin Desai, 2-time world champ, probably one of the best players in Star Wars CCG history. He's also a member of the Hall of Fame, and he just celebrated his 40th birthday. So, okay, so he did activate 2. And yeah, he's going to take a card with IG88. Justin gets Leia back with strike planning, so he used Leia and got her back with the second pull of strike planning. And Greg gets a card with IG88. Okay, so there's the Falcon and Poe. So now that's a drain of 2 up in space. So Justin deciding to go to space early, so now he can do a drain of 2. Oh, and there's Solo, so if he were to flip, that would be a drain of 3 up in space. And that also satisfies for Coward, so he can pay. He can lose the Walkling now. Oh, he uses Walkling to get projection of Skywalker, so now that's only a drain of 1. He doesn't use it to put it out of play to get that Hojix back, though. I think if you're Greg, I still think you want to drain here, just to get as much damage as you can. Okay, there's the force projection from Luke. So I don't know if Greg has it in his deck, but one card that might come into play here is Darth Maul from Tatooine. He would be able to actually blank Solo and Poe Dameron there. So if he was on the Infiltrator, he would essentially ditch 2 cards, cloak the Infiltrator, and then just blank their game text. So that would get around that drain of 2. I mean, you would be losing 2, but your opponent would then also be turned off of Coward, so they wouldn't be able to retrieve 2 or retrieve any. But let's see what Greg wants to do this turn. Okay, he does pull a card with IG88. And he'll play Surface Defense. Okay. Let's see what he grabs with the Surface Defense. Okay, so there's Jabba's Haven. So he can get out a Nalhada. He can. That also allows for a retrieval. Yeah, he's gonna pull it. He's gonna play the Nalhada. Okay, and he'll decide to go to space. He gets out Ellis and Hinthra. He doesn't go against Solo and Poe. Not a bad idea. And he'll get out Wolf. So now normally the Ellis and Hinthra is immune to attrition less than 5. However, with the objective, all his aliens and independent starships are immune to attrition less than 4. So if they don't have immune to attrition, the objective will allow them to have some. And let's see if he gets anything else out on his turn. Okay, so that's all Gray's going to do. He's going to draw a few cards with his force pile, though. He's got 11 cards in his hand to Justin's 10. So both players have a lot of stuff to work with this on their next turn. Greg went a little easy on space, so okay, there's the drain of 2 for Justin. And again, anything that Greg loses here, he'll be able to get back with the objective. So he loses, he's all yours, Bounty Hunter, and an Imp Artillery. Okay. Yeah, the Imp Artillery is a good one to lose. I mean, with the Honor of the Jedi out, it's really not going to do much. Okay, so Ray with Lightsaber is going to come down to the Carbonite Chamber. So I like that move from Justin. That's one of the ways to beat this CCT deck. You kind of want to leave the Audience Chamber alone, and you just want to stack the Carbonite Chamber, so that way you can start doing like a drain of 2. So I guess out Rey and Ahsoka. Now again, because of the errata to Legend, he won't be able to cancel and redraw here. But he will be able to. He would be able to flip. Okay. Greg playing Utaguta solo to pull Greedo. We are in Justin's battle phase. So that's all Justin's going to come down with. He's going down really light to his stuff. But again, because of the objective, if Greg was to come down with a character with weapon, the objective would cancel the firing. But he is threatening drains of 2 and 2 next turn. If he were to flip, they would be drains of 3 and 2. I will say this, though. I am glad to see both light side players play their aim high. That's a pretty important card in both these matchups, as the objectives give you retrieval. And being that Joe Olson is not in the chat, I will continue to say that aim high is a good card. You should always have it on the table. I know. I'm saying, yeah, I agree that both players would have it on the table, and it makes a perfect sense. I'm just giving crap to Joe Olson because it's always fun. That's one thing I like about our community. We can nobody. I don't think anybody has any. Will take any offense to the cracks and everything that people give each other. I for one say, you know what? I would rather somebody give me a crack like that than ignore me, because hey, in a weird way, it shows that you care. So Greg is going to do drains of 1 and 1. He did retrieve the Imperial Artillery. And there goes a Rebel Leadership and a Qui-Gon's Lightsaber from Justin's reserve deck. So let's see if Justin or Greg can do anything about those 2 drains. Maybe we'll see a U3PO. Again, with Corran Horn being the captive, Uh, unless Justin has like a sorry about the mess or some other way to get rid of the U3PO, U3PO is going to be safe. Instead, though, Greg's going to go down to the antechamber with Zam Wessel. Ooh, there's a fun card. Broken Concentration. So the first part of the game text really doesn't matter. It's really going to come down to also once per turn, you may use 2 force to move the top card opponent's force pile to the top of their opponent's reserve deck. So him along with Rit-Tick is kind of like a little bit of a lockout. So this is one way for Greg to really come back and win this matchup. Not put a lot of cards on the table. Keep your life force as high as you can, and then just keep locking at your opponent so they can't draw up, and just retrieve your entire loss pile. So that's one way for Greg to come back into this. It is a little bit long and a little bit NPE, a non-player, a non-positive experience per se, but it is for a way for Greg to win by 26. Okay, so he's going to do his 2 drains. Again, they're a drain of 2 and 2. Okay, Greg losing Stunning Leader. Oh, there goes the Rit-Tick. He can't get it back with the Jabba's Haven. He also loses a Hidden Weapons and a Probot. There's that Hidden Weapons and the Probot were in the use pile. So I believe he would have had to, yeah, uses the Broken Concentration to give Justin one last force to work with. Okay, Justin using his once per game to pull a card. Okay, there's Leia going down against that Zam Wessel. Again, Greg lost a Stunning Leader from his hand, so I personally am not a fan of losing that Stunning Leader. And there's General Kenobi. So he's got 2. Oh, okay, so he's got the barrier for the General Kenobi. Okay, secret plans because he can retrieve one with Leia. Okay, and he will retrieve. He will initiate a battle and retrieve one with Leia. Kenobi will not be involved in the battle, but Leia is. So now he does get +3 power because of the Despair Virtual. You know, while right here, while Jabba's prize with Scum and Villainy, your total power is +3 in all battles. So that's a little bit of a global boost. Okay, but Justin has a Rebel leadership. He's going to add 1 to the Battle of Destiny. So that should make up for that 3 that he just... I make up stuff. Charlie. Okay, so Rebel leadership comes down. Greg grabs that. He's going to draw 2. Oof! Justin draws a 0. He draws Luke's hut for his first Battle of Destiny. That's going to hurt. But he draws a 5 for his second, so that's going to get rid of the Zam Wessel. Let's see what Greg draws. Greg draws a 3. Leia is not immune. So Leia will be able to stick around. Justin does have to lose 1, but more importantly, Zam Wessel gets off of that location. Okay, so Zam will allow for a card to be taken from his force pile. So Greg has a lot of cards, a lot of stuff to get cards out of his force pile this game. So again, Greg is down by 25 after game 1. He's currently sitting at 23 in life force. That's not bad. Again, he's going to be able to retrieve cards each turn. Justin is doing drains of 2, 2, and 1 on his turn, so let's see if Greg can do anything about those. Justin did not flip in that battle, so I think he's saving his one-time flip for in case Greg comes down with like Mara with lightsaber or something along those lines. I don't know if not flipping there is the best thing, just because it would have increased his drain at Jakku from 2 to 3. But again, maybe he just, like I said, he just wants to save his his flip for Amara with lightsaber or something along those lines. However, maybe Greg is going with Erica to increase the amount of force he'll be able to retrieve. Okay, so we're now in Greg's activates phase. He activates, takes a card with IG-88. After that battle, looks like Justin lost a blaster deflection from his... let's see, where did he lose it from? He lost it from his reserve deck. Okay, so let's see what Greg can do about those two sites and the one system. Okay, first he's going to drain. He drains one at the site. Loses. Justin loses a Rescue in the Clouds and Padme, both from his reserve deck. Again, Justin's not trying to essentially win this battle, this game. He's just trying to win the match. Again, he's up by 25. So Greg will retrieve. He retrieves that Zam that he lost last turn. Okay, Forlom V coming down. Now Forlom there, I don't like it because you still have to target the character, and flipping says you can't fire. Um, Dr. E comes down, and Dengar comes down. So he drops 4 characters in front of Rey and Ahsoka. Interesting. And then he'll Broken Con. If he had the Rit Tick out, he could have used one of those 4s to put the card back, but actually he can't do it on his turn anymore because of the errata. So it would have to be on Justin's turn. Again, it looks like Bill is in the chat. So, Bill, if you have any insight as to why Greg went with CCT over something else, that would be great. I'd love to know that. Oh, okay, so here's a good play. IG-88 moves over and delivers the captive, so that way he can retrieve 2 cards with the deliverance. It is a once per game, so... Or it's once per captive, I'm sorry. So if he would have had a second captive there, he could have delivered again for 2 more force. But he does get 2 cards back into his deck. IG-88 is stuck over there for this turn, though. And he'll just pass turn. So that blocks one of the drains. So now Justin is going to be doing drains of 2 and 1. Yeah, he gets Probot and hidden weapons back from his lost pile. So again, I believe the Stunning Leader is still in his lost pile, but again, I could be wrong. I have been before. Greg activates and uses IG-88 to pull a card. We are on Justin's turn, so we'll be able to see those 2 drains. Oh, so instead of so Shaw will play Disarmed, targeting Ahsoka or targeting Rey. However, Justin has the Odin Nestler combo, so Disarmed does not work there, as you can cancel Disarmed. So good play by Justin having that card in his deck. But it looks like he had a second one. So Rey is disarmed. Rey goes to the lost pile. So yeah, Greg had 2 disarmed to be able to get rid of. Yeah, Greg had the 2 disarmed to get rid of Rey this turn. So now it's just Ahsoka there. I mean, Ahsoka is immune to Dengar, and she's immune to Forlom. But right now, Justin won't be able to flip if he wants to battle this turn. Okay, Lando's coming down against Boba Fett and Daru. But there's the barrier, so Lando is not going to be doing much this turn. Now, again, Daru basically did what he needed to do. And down comes Chewy with Bowcaster. Oof. I mean, that's not going to be. He won't be able to get a Destiny, but he could fire. But Greg has the second Imp barrier. I don't get why Justin didn't grab the first one. It would have cost Greg 2 force to, to play the second one, but he does grab the second. Okay, so both those characters are now barriered. Okay, Qui-Gon's lightsaber going down onto Obi-Wan. It doesn't add to the force drain, but it's still a lightsaber. And it looks like he's got two in the deck, because I know one went lost earlier in the game. It's a pretty good lightsaber. It is Destiny 5. Again, it doesn't add to the force drain, but it is the Destiny 5 lightsaber. So, and he's going to move Ahsoka away from that little beat squad. Okay, that's pretty smart. I mean, it is now it becomes a he still is a drain of 2 at the site, but so now Shaw occupies for honor. It hasn't come into play yet, but if he were to play the Imperial Artillery that we saw him lose and then retrieve a couple turns ago, he would be able to cause 1 point of damage. He is going to be able to drain here next turn because Despair adds 1 to the drain of wherever the prize is, and it doesn't have to be a battleground. Okay, Greg will play Cold Feet. He gets out his Code Clearance Shield. And then Justin plays Rescue in the Clouds. And probably going to see Greg do something about this Lando and the Chewie. I know that they can essentially swing or fire with the Chewbacca, but... And if IG-88 was here, you could target Daro instead. So... So now we go on to Greg's turn. Greg has 23 cards in his life force, so he just needs 3 cards. And to beat Justin, obviously, but Justin currently has 26 in his life force, so still pretty early on, even though a lot of action has happened. No real battles, but a lot of action. And again, so tonight, again, it is Wednesday night, so we'll have a new edition of Holo Theater. Looks like tonight, my guest or my co-host will be one Bill Kafer, member of New Allies, teammate of Greg Shaw, and Texas Mini World's top 8 player. Our guest will be Matt Lutz, CRG, also Texas Mini World's top 8 player. And teammate of Greg Shaw and Bill Kafer. He also got his, just so everybody, for those who don't know, he won his game yesterday in the European Cup to get his team into the finals. So a lot to talk about tonight on Holo Theater. We'll talk about some of the erratas. We'll talk about some of the Set 13 spoilers and a lot more stuff to talk about that I'm just going to say that tune in tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time, where I'm at, for another exciting edition of Holo Theater. We'll probably talk about this game as well. Okay, so we're now on Greg's turn. Greg activates. You will use IG-88 to take a card. Now, IG-88, it does take a card out of his life force, but at the same time, that puts another card in his hand, gives him something to work with on his turn. So that's good. And now he'll drain. So he's going to get drains of 1, 1, and 1 on this turn. Justin will lose Luke's Hut from his use pile. But I bet he's kind of glad to see that card go away. Then he'll lose Corn Horn, another card who is essentially dead in this matchup. And then he'll lose a Rebel Leadership. According to Justin, those are bangers to lose. I agree. I'm glad to see there's some back and forth between our players. I like that. Greg will now retrieve with his objective. He retrieves that first disarm that he played last turn. Okay, U3PO comes down. He's going to block that drain. I don't know why he didn't go down at where Ahsoka is to block the drain. Because there is Obi-Wan has a lightsaber, so he could sorry about the mess the U3PO. Um, unless he's intending on moving his characters in front of Ahsoka. Okay, so he moves the IG-88 in front of Lando and Chewie. Um, okay. Again, Boba Fett did his job, essentially. So, if Chewie was to fire at Fett, that's fine. I mean, that is 2 Battle Destiny there, so... But you gotta think, though, Greg has some sort of tricks to cancel that battle if Justin were to initiate there. Yeah, he's going to move all that B squad in front of the Ahsoka, so that's why he threw the U3PO down in front of Obi-Wan. And he just leaves the Forlorn by himself. Okay. Uh, yeah, Honor. No, Honor is active right now. Uh, Greg is not occupying 3 battlegrounds. So Honor is in effect. Unless the opponent occupies 3 battlegrounds, each time you must lose force, it's reduced by 2. So... Okay, so there's the sorry about the mess combo to get rid of that U3PO. But there's the imbalance combo, so that works. Yes, he did. Okay, so BB-8 comes down, so that's going to add a ping damage. So, I mean, he got rid of that drain there with the U3PO, but BB-8 going down means that he's going to be able to get a drain in, or he's going to do a ping damage. Uh, Greg does have the restraining bolt in his deck, but he did lose it to a drain, so that's one way to get rid of BB-8. No, he has not used solo yet this game. So yeah, he could use the sorry about the mess, like in the next his next turn or something. Okay, but let's see. So Justin gets down Finn, so he's going to be able to flip and cause a redraw. Fett will be able to use his game text, so probably going to see a stunning leader here to cancel this battle. Because if you're Greg, you don't want this battle. Yeah, Greg wants to be able to initiate battles. He doesn't want to go into a battle. Okay, so Boba Fett will use this game text. Okay, we see Justin flip. Okay, so battle will continue. Justin uses Chewie to fire at Duro. Duro is most definitely hit. He is forfeit 0 right now. Okay, Justin is Greg is. Let's see. Justin draws a 4 for Battle Destiny. Interesting. Like I said, there's no tricks right now for Greg. Okay, so Justin draws a 4 and a 1. That's going to bring him up to 21 power. Greg is sitting at 13, down by 8. And he draws a 3 for Battle Destiny. Okay. So he's down by 5. Fett covers, essentially. Okay, but Justin has the force projection, so let's see what he draws. He draws a 5, so that's going to reduce that Destiny that Greg just drew down to 0. Greg is going to be down by 8 in attrition, or no, 5 in attrition and 8 over battle damage. So you got to think he's losing Fett and 3 cards. I think Fett's forfeit 5. No, Fett's forfeit 6, so he's going to lose 2 cards and Fett. And Justin's not going to lose anything. So let's see. He's losing projective telepathy and any misses necessary, both from his use pile. Okay, Justin's going to use his objective to maneuver his cards. He activates both of them, so they're now sitting on his force pile, and then he's just going to draw some cards. Okay, Greg's going to use Jabba's Haven to retrieve 1. See what he gets back. Yeah, it looks like those 3 cards are going to be just chasing down Ahsoka on Cloud City. Outside of that, I mean, now he is blocking the strain with IG-88, but you do not want IG-88 sitting around there. Okay, so Greg is going to retrieve Boba Fett. Yeah, I think this is a match that Greg can win overall. It's definitely a match that I think Greg can win, but however, can he win it by 26? I don't think so, unless he's playing Ryan Saracen. Okay, so now we move into Greg's turn. He has 19 cards in his life force. He will retrieve 1 here, so Activates and takes a card with IG-88. Okay, so he does have Boba Fett in his hand. Maybe he'll play a Disarmed here. Get rid of Chewie. Okay, Justin loses your Insight serves you well from his reserve deck, and he'll play Rescue in the Clouds. Yep, there's the Disarmed. Okay, so that's going to block the sorry about the mess that Finn just pulled for Justin. Okay, Greg retrieves one. And what's interesting is Greg drained first. So if Justin had a sorry about the mess in his hand, he could have used Chewie to target the IG-88. But again, he didn't. Okay, so Mara comes down, Ponda Baba comes down. Ponda Baba does work because he is with a smuggler. And there's the Fett. So yeah, he's only getting one destiny to the two destiny here, but he's got enough forfeit value here to get around that. He'll be able to hit one of those three guys. So he's Justin will have one character left after this battle. I think if you're Greg, you kind of want to go after the Lando. Okay, so again with Greg initiating, he retrieved two with Scum. Lando will retrieve one for Justin because because Greg initiated. So he adds your insight serves you well to Lando's power to bring him up to 20. Okay, Mara will swing at Finn. He draws a 4. Justin will be able to cancel and redraw here. So draws a 4 and a 1. So that is enough to hit Finn. Okay, Pundabub is going to reduce Chewie's forfeit to 0, so yeah, depending on what he draws here, I mean, Lando's going to go away. Chewie will stick around. Okay, he draws a 2. It becomes a 3, though, because of Jabba's Prize. Yeah. While Jabba's Prize is the audience chamber, opponent's battle destinies are +1. And Justin draws a 4 for the first one. And a 5. So he's got 9. So I want to say it's Fett and Ponda Baba. Yeah. But again, Justin is going to have to lose 2 of his characters. So probably going to lose Chewie just because Chewie is disarmed. Yep, there goes the Chewie, there goes Fett and Ponda Baba. They did their job. And you want to you're going to have to lose the Lando too. Chewie is forfeit 0, so yeah, if you lost the Chewie, you have to lose the Lando because of the attrition. Okay, so pretty good result. Maybe we'll see an attempted revert here from Justin, but I doubt it. I wonder if that was a mistake on Justin's end. Okay, now Greg only has 2 cards left in his force pile, so unless he only wants to move two guys over here, he's not really going to be able to. He's still going to take the. He's going to take this drain of 2. This is currently a drain of 3 right now, unless again Greg moves 2 of his guys over here, and then has a way to pull ultimatum, or sorry, resistance. Okay, Justin will put Walkling out of play to retrieve 1. He's going to be able to retrieve that Lando. Greg's sitting at 21 cards in his life force. He's going to take drains of 3 and 2 this turn, though. So, I mean, things are looking fairly good for Justin at this point to win the match. Yep, there's the drain of 3 at Jakku. And Greg will lose Zuckuss, First Strike, and Duro. And there's the ping damage from BB-8, so he loses an extra card. There goes Projective Telepathy, so he's losing 6 this turn. There goes a second Projective Telepathy and a Jango Fett, both from reserve deck. Greg's only got 3 cards left in his life force, or in his hand. And there's a second Sorry About the Mess, but Greg has the imbalance combo. So that U3PO is going to pretty much be able to stick around this game. Justin will use his objective to move around some cards. He puts both of them onto his force pile. And then he's just going to draw a few cards. There's a Rescue in the Clouds. So right now, Greg has to do something about those drains. Losing 6 a turn is not good for him. He's sitting at 15 in his life force. But again, as long as Greg doesn't run out of time, he has ways to essentially retrieve all of his life force with the broken concentration. But I don't think Justin's going to essentially allow that. So yeah, Justin still has yet to use his solo, so he can still play the Sorry About the Mess to get rid of that U3PO. But we'll see what Greg can do. Like I said, as long as he has enough cards to retrieve and use Broken Concentration, he's not out of this game. He just has to hurry up and do as much damage to Justin as fast as he can. And I think that's the only way Greg can actually win this game. So Proxima is going to come down, and then I think we're going to see him slide those 3 guys over in front of Ahsoka. Yep, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Now, if he has the Cold Feet in his hand, he'll be able to play another Defensive Shields, get out his resistance, and cap that drain at 2 at Jakku. So he would only lose 3 this turn instead of 4. Yeah, I can see that. Like Justin getting to his second Rayless lightsaber. Yeah, exactly, Charlie. He does activate, and he still has 2 cards left in his reserve deck, so maybe he doesn't have the Ray with Lightsaber. But okay, so it is a drain of 3 at Jakku instead of a drain of 2, so Greg will lose 4 cards this turn. He loses Jabba the Hutt from his hand, Zam Wessel, and Cad Bane. And then to that BB-8 ping, he will lose any messes necessary. So he's got 9 left in his life force. Justin's sitting at 17. Yeah, I think this is the only way that Greg can win is just... Oh, and here comes a Tanev down. So Tanev's going to come down against that Ellison Hinthra. But Greg has a second... Or he has... There's the barrier, so that ship is now barriered. Greg has used his Jabba's Haven, so he won't be able to get the Zuckuss and Misthunter back. There's Lando. But a card that would help him here is Maul. Darth Maul from the Tatooine Darth Maul. He would make that entire location non-existent, essentially. And being that Ahsoka's on the ground, I like Darth Maul right now in this matchup. I really do. The only character that I think that Justin would have left is Rey. Okay, Greg's going to use Broken Concentration to put a card onto Justin's deck, so that way he has one less card to draw up to. And Justin is just going to recirculate and end his turn by using 1 force to keep Lando on the table. So again, if we see that Darth Maul come down, it's going to hurt Justin really hard. Heck, even if we see like a Zuckuss and Misthunter coming down, that would hurt Justin. But let's see what Greg has in his hand this turn to battle that Tanev. Okay, so he does save 2 cards. So that is he has something to come down and do with that Tanev. I think Greg is saving the 2 for the possible cancel and redraw with the objective. But again, because of the errata, he can't do it there. He has Justin has to have 2 resistance characters on the at that area, at that system to cancel and redraw. The only place he has that is at Jakku. So maybe we'll see like... No, I don't think we're going to see a Zuckuss and Misthunter going down to Jakku. So let's see what Greg can do this turn. He activates 7, uses IG-88, so he's got 6 cards to work with. That's the biggest problem is, yeah, Greg can retrieve 1 each turn, but he's running out of life force. Okay, he's going to activate the 2 remaining cards, so we're not going to see a battle this turn. And then he'll retrieve the any methods necessary. So Justin will lose the Jedi Levitation from his reserve deck. And a control and tunnel vision as well. Okay. So right now Greg is sitting at 9 in life force. Justin is sitting at 14. So again, that drain of 3 at Jakku is really hurting Greg. Okay, so he drops down Jango Fett. You almost want to say that he's going to move over in front of the Falcon. I mean, either way, Justin's going to get 2 Destiny at those systems. It's just the Jakku system is hurting him so much more. Okay, so Proximo's going to move over. Greedo. Zyzo, or Dr. E, and then Dengar as well. Yeah, I don't think you want to leave Dengar there. Okay, he's just going to leave Dengar there. Interesting. I want to say it's going to be on a different stream. I believe it's going to be on Joe Olson's stream. So for those who are looking for that game, it's going to be at twitch.tv/arebelspy. Okay, but yeah, it looks like this game is going to be over here pretty soon. Unless Greg can... Again, Greg's losing 4 this turn. Yep. He's got 12 to work with, so Greg still isn't out of this. Essentially, it's just he's running out of cards really fast in his life force. So yeah, stay tuned to tune into Joe Olson's Twitch site if you want to watch the Echo Base Trooper versus Bastion game. Again, that game's going to be on here really soon. Greg loses Zizor to the BB-8 ping. He's down to 5 in life force. Justin saves 3 cards in his reserve deck, so that tells me that he has like a character with a lightsaber in his hand, possibly Rey. And Rey is coming down, so I think you want to use Rey against IG-88 just to make Greg lose a card. So, sorry about that. So, may lose 1 force to cancel a just drawn weapon destiny targeting IG-88. Okay, Justin will initiate with Rey. He retrieves 1 with General Leia. He draws a 5 Versions in the Force for his first weapon destiny. He is targeting Mara, though. Again, IG-88 has immunity less than 5, so unless Justin draws a 5, IG-88 could stick around. So he does hit the Mara, so he's going to retrieve 1. At this point, though, you got to think Justin is tracking all of his destinies. He's putting a lot of cards back with like the rescue in the clouds and stuff, so you got to think he has some sort of idea what his destinies are when he battles. Now, Greg has 3 cards left in his reserve deck, so he could swing, but then he wouldn't get any destiny. So I think the better thing is just not swing and let the destiny go through. Okay, so he does do broken concentration, so he's going to use his last 2 force to put the card back onto Justin's life, or onto his reserve deck. Justin will use his objective to check and see what his destinies are. He probably is going to put them back onto his, he's going to put them back onto his force pile. Yep. So Justin does know what that destiny is. He does want to draw the 5 that will get rid of IG-88. And I want to say at that point, yep, there's the 5. IG-88 will go away. And I want to say at this point, we'll probably see a GG from Greg. Yep, Greg draws a 5 as well. So, I mean, he has 16 or 17 in power because it's a 6, but Rey covers everything. Yeah, losing IG-88 isn't terrible, but when you have to win by 26, I think that's what essentially doomed Greg was he lost by 26. Again, this is a match I think CCT can win, but it's just it's rough, especially when you're down by 26. Okay, so Greg's going to activate 3. He's not going to be able to drain. I mean, he's still going to be able to retrieve here, but okay, and yep, just for those who are looking, uh, Joe Olson is streaming the Bastion and Adam Fletcher game currently on his stream. I might actually have that game. Well, actually, we'll just leave his game alone. Let him stream. Okay, Greg is going to battle against Justin in space. Both players draw 2 destiny. Will retrieve and Justin could retrieve with Lando, but Secret Plans will cancel that. Draws a 3, a second broken concentration. So 3 and 5. So that's going to clear that for. So the Tantive and Lando are going to have to go lost here. Justin draws a 5. It becomes a 4 because of Woof. Now, if he draws a 0 here or a 1, yep, he draws a second 5, so that's 8. That's going to clear Wolf and Django. So the Ellis and Hindra is going to stick around, but goodbye Wolf, goodbye Django. Okay, and those who are sticking around on this game, watching the end of this game, looks like Bastion's playing Prophet, and it looks like Adam is playing CCT. This is going to be an interesting match. I like the CCT in this. I like CCT. I really do. I like CCT in this match. Prophet can't drain you on Tatooine at all, so that's one good thing for the CCT. The other thing is, I mean, again, you are liable, or you can be the carbonate chamber room is a drain of 2, but again with your opponent not draining on Tatooine, that takes away a lot of the stuff he can do. Justin's going to put Anakin down. He's going to be able to cancel Scum and Villainy. He's also going to be able to get that Jabba's prize. He's going to get the Jabba's prize off the table. Okay, so yep, Justin Greg will concede this match. He says GG. So that means that Justin Desai is our second player to advance into the top 4 of the OCS finals. So congrats to Justin for advancing. Greg, you played really well. Glad to see that you did. You made it out of the top. You beat Steve Baroni in the first round. So congrats to you. We'll see everybody else again. Go ahead and go over to Joe Olson's Twitch channel for Bastion versus Adam. That's our. So we still have 2 more matches to go out of the top 4. Bastion versus Adam, and I want to say the other one is Paul Myers versus. Let me double check that. Oh, Paul Myers versus Eric Hunter for our second one. So I will be signing off. Stay tuned. Again, tonight is another episode of Holo Theater for check on for that. I'll be joined by Bill Kafer and Matt Lutz, both member of the esteemed New Allies. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see everybody later. Take care.